Okay, so I'm recording now. Today, I wanted to talk about improvement and exactly how you can become quote unquote talented at something, and why I don't think people need to be talented or gifted in order to really compete with the best. And let me be clear on what I've just said. I'm here to say, or I'm here to teach you how to compete, not to beat your competitors, and why you don't need to be the best in order to do something, right? So the reality is with improvement and how you can become the best is, as we all know, is through consistency and well thought out practice. But the thing is, only only people that are truly devoted to these things or to a certain craft because of factors that were also not within their hold. That's how they come to be with these things. A lot of it is, uh, I should say, natural and not artificial. So, for example, is perhaps, let's say, basketball and professional athletes in basketball or in any sort of sport that's hyper competitive, right? The people that stay and become one of the best typically get into it through pure exposure and ambitions, right? So, for example, let's say you're a basketball player. The reason why you would want to become, or the reason you become one of the best, is because you've just been in the game for long enough, right? So, let's say, for example, maybe your neighborhood is filled with people that like basketball. Or it could be the exact opposite. Nobody in your place plays basketball, and that creates the desire to become good at basketball, right? You want to surround yourself with people that play basketball. So in turn, you get better at basketball passively, just through exposure. And that desire is what carries you, essentially. The same with video games, right? The reason why you'd want to play video games, or at least get better at video games, is through external factors or internal. For example, let's say video games like League of Legends. Why would you want to get good at League of Legends? I can't say this for everyone, just like the basketball example, but there is a reason. For me personally, it was because at the time that I was still playing League of Legends, I don't anymore, I've quit long ago, but I'm playing this just because it reminded me of why I played League of Legends in the past. It was because I wanted to improve, but I felt that in real life I had no chance. And I was like, oh, I can get good at this because of X reasons IRL that prevent me from really trying, right? But here I had that chance and I was given that mindset to truly try. And that's given me a lot of time to think, really decide how I became good at video games, right? And although I'm not very good anymore, as you could see from my gameplay here, I am just walking into everything. But the point is, a lot of a lot of factors that really play into getting better at something is the desire and the motivation. But the thing is, what if we're not lucky, right? What if we didn't have that thing in our lives? What if we're quote unquote too late? What can we do? And is it salvageable? I don't even need to be the best. I just want to be good and be proud of myself in that sense, right? And I think I have the answer. And there's multiple ways you can go about this, but I think the biggest one is, or at least the biggest one to prioritize at the very beginning, is your mindset when it comes to goals in general, not just your specific goal right now. Let's say, for example, you're trying to get good at, I don't know, Tetris, League of Legends, basketball, baseball, football, whatever it may be, and what you want to do, all these things. You want to take it slow, and not slow as in like progress and like, oh, be patient. No, yes, of course, that's a part of it, but you also want to be very lenient with yourself. When you want to improve quickly, it means you also have to fail quickly, right? You can't just expect to be very good at the start. And it's kind of counterintuitive, right? The way you get better at things is by messing up more, actually intentionally doing things that can cause you to make mistakes. And this can get very convoluted and very confusing. But for example, is here. This is a skill shot game for League of. It's like a, I guess, a community thing. I don't know. It's a project by somebody. I don't know who owns this thing. I just found it online. I thought it was pretty cool, right? But this really trains you on a specific skill. And what the highlight of this isn't actually when you're playing well, it's when you're doing poorly. The way I get better at this is by actually dying more often. But how do I improve and die at the same time without getting frustrated and quit? And it's by finding reasonable ways to fail. For example, how can I want to get better at dodging, right? So what's a way that I can improve? So we can look at this from an in-depth perspective of how we play the game, which is when you want to dodge just enough. So in this scenario, my goal is to not move super like a lot. Like when I dodge, I try to get back to where I was, stay in the middle, right? So what happens? What happens is I get put in situations where I feel like I'm just about to die and there's nothing I can do. But then you can think about it. You let it simmer and you do it more. You keep dying. You just keep dying. Like literally just 30 minutes ago, I just kept dying over and over again, getting mad. Why am I dying? It's too fast. I can't read it. I don't think it's even possible, right? And now here I am, just messing about in the middle, doing pretty well. Well, as well as I can at the moment compared to 30 minutes ago, of course, right? And here I am. Look at how much you can improve. Like I'm trying to really force myself to fail one way or another. I'm forcing this situation where it's so the margin for failure is so thin. If I miss, I die like that. But I know it's possible, and by just pushing that idea that it's possible to be that good, that I can play on these margins, these small crevices when you're dodging, it creates a situation where I am improving faster than everybody else because someone that's playing the same game as me might be playing it differently. They might be trying to play passively. They might be running away from the skill shot. They're trying to move a lot. Like here, they're moving very quickly. They're moving about just so it's very easy to dodge. See how I can just circle around. They're not really following me. They're just moving around, and I'm just trying not to get hit by them, right? As they're passing by me. But when I stay in the middle and try to get hit, right? Now it's like it's a challenge because I'm now forced to do ultimatums where I either commit, I stand still, I move, I shoot, and it starts becoming limited and now there's actual options and there's a way to fail and there's a way to win. And you can start forming those things. And it doesn't happen if you don't think of it like that. You want to think multifaceted as well. So, for example, oh shit. For example, is in this scenario, how can I improve from a gamer's perspective? And the gamer's perspective is, play a lot, get accustomed to it, just play more, and maybe look up guides, right? Now, how would let's say for example, maybe a mathematician, how would a mathematician or a scientist go about trying to get better at League of Legends, right? Or even just dodging skill shots. And this might be rough, but like, for example, they could take a look at the speed of the projectile in the scenario that I'm playing, right? And like calculate how much leeway they actually have before you have to decide that you have to dodge it or just avoid it altogether. For example, when you dodge something, you either step aside or you go past it or you stop wherever you're going to like prevent getting hit because if you keep going, you have to die like that, right? In this scenario, I have to move out the way. In this scenario, I have to stop and then go back. In this scenario, oh wait, there you go. I'm deciding whether to hit. And, I create these scenarios. I force these scenarios to happen. And this is brute testing as well. I don't do the math. I do brute testing like a gamer, right? But I could go the scientific way, right? I would like calculate how fast I'm actually moving. Can I go that fast? I can look up a video or I could record myself and look at how fast the projectiles are moving and do the calculations myself, just so I know how far I can actually go without dying. How big is the character's hitbox actually? I can look at that up on my recordings, or possibly I could even ask the creator, right? And it's those things. That's how you beat people that are gifted, because a lot of the gifted people in the world that do the same activities that you do, they've probably just dumped a lot more hours than you have, simply because they had more motivation than you. So let's get into that. Let's get into motivation. How do you motivate yourself to do something? Maybe you want something, but you can't bring yourself to do it. The reality is when you have these thoughts is because the motivation isn't great enough that you would forego doing other things in your life. For example, getting better at League of Legends, the way you want to, I guess, motivate yourself from a mindset perspective is to, or point of view is find out all the reasons why you want to improve until improving becomes a no-brainer. So, for example, as a, degenerate way of thinking about it, like I did in the past, and that's why I've quit. I've quit now, but this lesson of improving has stuck with me, which is real life sucks. Video games, I have a chance, so I'll put all my thoughts into video games, right? That was the motivation, and that was enough for me because, oh, real life doesn't matter at one point, right? That was all I needed. But now that I'm a little bit older, college and all that stuff, how do you go about it? And to me, what I found it most effective for me is, I guess, motivation stacking is what I would want to call it. People try to do, habit stacking and all these things, but I think motivation stacking is more important because it's more core to who you are. When you can find more reasons to do something, the more no-brainer it becomes. And I guess it stacks up with what I've just said a while ago, but like you want to make it intentional rather than like a forced situation, right? For example, let's say I want to improve my health. Now I have to look into different ways on why I want to improve my health, not just one. And it can't be vague either. It has to be very specific and it has to affect a lot of facets in your life, or at least enough facets in your life to make it actually reasonable to do and make it actually plausible by trying to find steps to do it. what are the active steps I could take? So for example, let's say, yeah, I want to lose weight, I want to get better, I want to go back to the gym and all these things, which I'm currently doing, right? So how did I go about like trying to maybe build the habit of going to the gym or maybe going out for a run, a jog, or a walk even, right? And the reasons I found myself was, first of all, I just wanted to improve my appearance. Whether we like it or not, appearance is a big factor in our own self-esteem, no matter how you want to put it. I want to fit more on my shirts, some of my shirts are starting to get very fit, starting to not be as loose as they were. So now I want to change that. Another, physical fitness. I just want to feel lighter. I feel a little bit heavier now that I've gained some weight, right? Makes sense. Another, I want to look good for my significant other. I have a girlfriend, right? So I want to improve. I want to improve for her, not just for me, but for her sake. My family as well. I don't want my family to worry that I'm gaining weight, right? So I'm gonna use that as motivation. Besides all the reasons already listed, what else? I want to improve my, I guess, my mindset. When you're tired, when you haven't worked out in a long time, you start to feel groggy, you feel weak, right? And that plays into your mind as well. It plagues you. You start feeling lazy mentally, not just physically. So I want to change that. I want to improve my willpower, the ability to decide regardless of external factors, right? It's been shown that physical exercise can improve those things because it's an act of resistance, right? Oh, my body's tired. No, keep going, right? And the other is because I enjoyed it and I just want to get back into it. Now you see, like, now that I'm listing those things down and now that I'm talking about it, now I can really hone in on that idea that, yeah, you're right. Myself. Yes, me. I do want to work out and do something for myself again, right? What else? What else can we do to improve and become the best version of ourselves when it comes to things we want to be better at in life? Another is comparison. How do we deal with comparison? Because sometimes you have friends, maybe you're motivated because your friends play it and you don't want to be a shitter because they're carrying you all the time. Or maybe you don't like dying so often in Elden Ring or some Soulsborne game. Or maybe you want to get a specific achievement. You're a completionist. You want to complete a game, whatever it may be. Another is uh, dissect the concepts of what you're trying to improve at and learn. So, for example, this is a very, very good example. Skill shots in League of Legends is very, it's only one part. It's a very minuscule part of the game, but it's also a core part of your improvement as a player. So it deserves equal attention as maybe game sense or map awareness and maybe jungle timings, maybe wave management, and all these different things, right? So you want to split them up and prioritize doing one, and then not only that, adding to it, because a lot of people look at it very surface level. They think of, oh, I need to improve in my game sense, so I'll do things to improve my game sense, but they don't exactly. It's very vague. That's the problem. People are very vague when it comes to improvement. So, for example, here I want to improve my ability to dodge and my click accuracy, right? You don't just do one thing to improve it. You can do a lot of things to improve, your attention span, to like make you more motivated because it's not as boring as doing just one thing over and over again for 10 hours straight in like a week or, like 2 hours a day or something before playing. You want variety. So for example, there's this, right? There's a little dodge game or something. I don't know what you want to do or improve at. There's also mouse accuracy. right? You can improve your clicks, right? Something like this, right? Where you prioritize just clicking. And you do this over and over again. Instead, if you don't want to do that one, right? Another could be, let's say, playing different games. Let's say play StarCraft, play World of Warcraft, or sorry, not World of Warcraft. What's that other game? Oh yeah, World of Warcraft, whatever. It's some RTS game or something that maybe improves your clicks. I have no idea. Uh, Maybe you want to improve your APM, your thinking management. That also plays into RTS games. You could play Tetris. You could play other things that play on the same mechanics, but they're just more fun. Although they may be less efficient, quote unquote, they're more fun, and ultimately that's what we want to do. You want to improve and not burn yourself out by doing things, even if they're inefficient. It's better than the most inefficient thing you could do is just not do it at all, right? So at least pick something. For example, if you want to lose weight, but you don't want to run, walk. Okay, maybe you don't want to walk. Okay, so if instead of, uh, I guess, running for 30 minutes, you run for 20, maybe 10, even 5. Hell, even 5 minutes of just running instead of 30, or jog, whatever. Do something regarding it, even if it's less efficient, less of what you wanted to happen. Just do it because it's ultimately better than not doing it at all. Another is, uh, I guess, find communities, find people that want the same. You want to really improve because other people are also improving. And you also want ones that, want the same thing you want. You want to improve not because, you met someone that's toxic and want to prove they're wrong. That's not the kind of, well, of course it can work, but honestly, you're playing with fire at that point, which I don't really condone. I wouldn't advise it after so long of trying to improve at things. And this is with a lot of things, right? For me personally, and why, if you've been listening to me for a while, I think you probably believe me by now. But just so you know, like some context on who I am, I've been playing video games for a long time. I've done a lot of self-improvement, quote unquote, is what they say on the internet. I've done a lot of things to improve my health, my well-being, improve myself in whatever sport. I did taekwondo. I played Tetris for a while. I played League of Legends. I got Masters in no, only High Diamond, but a pretty good MMR around Masters before I stopped playing because I just lost motivation to play it, and I did other things. I got Ascendant on Valorant. I got S rank on Tetrio. It's like a Tetris game. I I almost competed in Taekwondo. I did pretty well. I improved my cardio a lot. Kicking was fun. What else? I lost a lot of weight. I was obese at one point. Now I got a little bit fat. Not obese fat, but like, it's like, oh God, I got some meat there. But I used to be very skinny. I've been around the scale. I've been normal, I've been overweight, obese, I've been skinny, I've been anorexic. I learned the guitar for 6 months. I By the end of those 6 months, I learned to play Kiss the Rain pretty well. Uh, Pretty clean, I would say, on the classical guitar. Gosh. But yeah, I'm sure by now you've probably learned a thing or two from this video, so I think I should end it here. Thank you guys so much for listening. I just wanted to ramble. I don't know why you would want to listen to me. But yeah, have a good day.